So when it comes to wearing all black, there are some definite pros and cons. And let's start out with a positive note, the pros. Number one, getting dressed is so much easier and so much more efficient. Everything basically matches, although there are different shades of black and kind of grays, but overall it's just so much easier to match everything. With all this stuff that we have to decide every day, there's definitely like decision fatigue, and that's a huge part of why I actually love black, because I'm not making a million decisions with it. I'm usually just like, oh, this looks nice with that. This texture looks good with this other texture. And then I'm done. And instead of color matching, I'm focusing on more things like silhouette, proportion, texture is a huge one, fabric choices, utility based on, of course, the weather, because it can get hot wearing all black, which I will talk about in a bit. Another huge pro is it is so much easier to look chic and put together with minimal effort. Like, you could wear the most minimal and kind of lazy outfit, honestly, and not put a whole lot of effort into it, but because it's black, to me, it just looks more elevated, it looks more chic, it looks more modern. Like, even the most lazy fit, if it were a different color, it would look different, it would hit different. Which reminded me of this quote by Yves Saint Laurent, and actually the shirt that I'm wearing, this beautiful silk shirt that I'm wearing, is a Saint Laurent piece. But this quote to me kind of says it all. It says, "I love black because it affirms, designs, and styles. A woman in a black dress is a pencil stroke." This idea that wearing black is a pencil stroke that you are using to create a new picture. It's kind of a default mode. It's the color that is all colors but no color at the same time. Another thing I love is that it is so much easier to hide stains and spills from food and drink. When I used to wear a lot of color, I would constantly be aware of dripping things on my clothes and keeping things really clean looking and not looking gross. But with black clothes, I feel like I can set some of that anxiety aside, because you can spill all kinds of stuff on black clothes. Sometimes it can look gross, but most of the time it falls on you and it kind of disappears. And one of my favorite things about wearing all black, though, is for whatever reason, it makes me feel more confident. I put on black clothes and something transforms for me, where I just feel like there's just less limits in how I can behave and emote. Like, the confidence level goes way up. I'm not sure why this happens. It just feels like I'm wearing armor. It's like a magical uniform of protection. And to quote one of my favorite designers, Yohji Yamamoto, black is modest and arrogant at the same time. Black is lazy and easy, but mysterious. But above all, black says this: "I don't bother you, don't bother me." That quote is so powerful to me because there is this power, there's this mystery, there's this protection in it. And then when he says, "I don't bother you, so don't bother me," it's like saying that without having to say anything from your mouth. You're saying that with your clothes. And also on the emotional side of wearing black, there's something about that color of garments where I just feel more emotionally authentic. I feel more like me and less like I'm performing some kind of version of myself. It symbolizes kind of a dark perception of the world that I've had since I was like a little kid. Just wondering why things happen. Why are people so violent? Why do people fight so much? It also symbolizes emotional grief and the act of mourning, because on a more personal note, I have experienced death, unfortunately, with very important people in my life. Black for me symbolizes the kind of pain that I have felt. Black helps me tap into that emotion and kind of wear it as an emblem of that experience that I've had. Sometimes the darkness is quite beautiful, like within art and music, and of course fashion and culture. There's many ways where darkness is actually a beautiful poem or a painting. Another thing I absolutely love about wearing all black is it draws less attention. When I'm out in public spaces, sometimes I have social anxiety, and I feel like wearing all black makes me feel like I am this ghost lurking in the shadows, and hopefully not in some creepy way. Maybe I am creepy to some people, but for me, it feels like less attention, like the spotlight that sometimes it feels like social situations present. I don't want that like any of the time. I just want to do my thing. I don't want any special treatment or attention. And when I wear all black, I actually feel mostly free of this sense of judgment. Another huge thing I love about wearing all black, and this is a huge one, is shopping is so much easier and so much more efficient. I used to spend so much time in clothing stores just looking at almost every shirt and looking at the fabric tags and would this go well with these pants. But with black, there's only a small sliver of clothes usually that's all black. And it's obviously so easy to see, so I just naturally walk over there like a freaking vampire. I look at the 3 black shirts that they have, and usually I'm like, okay, that's it. I don't have the impulse to stand there for hours looking at every single color. I just look at the black stuff and then I'm out. It's kind of like the concept of less is more. When you have a very limited palette, that's what you're kind of stuck with, which is actually an awesome thing because you're not spending as much time shopping for that stuff, putting the outfits together, matching everything. It's just all black. So all you have to do is pick the black thing, put it with the rest of your black stuff, and all of a sudden look like a Renaissance ghost. And it's incredible. All black also feels so timeless to me. It's so limitless, yet simple. To me, it feels way more ambiguous. Black doesn't necessarily represent specific trends or periods of time, or your age, or your identity with your gender, or your sexuality, or whatever. To quote Christian Dior, you can wear black at any time. You can wear it at any age. You may wear it for almost any occasion. Like what I'm wearing right now, do I look like I'm from the 80s, or do I look like a 2024 outfit or a future outfit? I don't know, because it's black, and to me it just feels elevated, elegant, simple, but also very modern and contemporary. And on that note, I also love that black clothes to me don't signify a particular gender, because I do identify as non-binary. I love the idea of androgynous clothing, clothes that aren't necessarily male or female or masculine or feminine. If this beams plus turtleneck, which I'm obsessed with by the way, if this thing was hot pink, the outside world might have certain assumptions about my gender identity, my sexuality, etc. But with black, I don't have to even waste my mental space thinking about, are people gonna judge me? Does this make me look too manly or too feminine? Like, it just is. Another weird pro that was very surprising to me of wearing all black is I actually feel cooler in the heat. This is a huge misconception that black clothes will make you feel warmer, and there is some truth to that because black does absorb heat. But the misconception in that is black clothes have the ability to also pull heat away from your body. And I wear a lot of like oversized stuff. So when you wear oversized black stuff, it pulls away your body moisture and stuff. And then the heat that is pulled away from your body will actually be blown away by the wind. And I've also moved towards wearing mostly natural fibers because they're more breathable. They age much better. Stuff like cotton and linen, especially in the hot climate like Texas, is just completely necessary. Another thing I love about wearing all black is laundry day is so freaking easy. Because everything's all black, you don't have to separate clothes based on color. I basically just put everything in the same load and wash it all under a delicate cycle, cold water, and then when it's done, I air dry everything. I hang it on a rack. Super easy. Also, your clothes will last longer and they will look better with a deeper color if you don't use an electric dryer. So now we move on to the dark side of wearing all black. And the biggest con for me, it picks up dog hair and pet hair and lint, and I find it on my clothes basically at all times. It's the biggest annoyance with wearing all black, and sometimes I'm like, why am I doing this to myself? It would help if I just didn't care, but I want my clothes to look nice and feel nice, and to me, as soon as I can visually see a dog hair on my clothes, I'm like, get it off, I don't want it on there. Also, if I'm at a friend's house and they have a cat or a dog or something, I will sometimes refrain from petting this animal or letting it get close to me because I don't want the hair to be transferred to me, which is really annoying because I love animals and I want to pet them. I want to cuddle with them. And there are some workarounds with that. Like that's another reason why I tend to wear more natural fibers, like with synthetic fibers like polyester, polyamide, stuff like that. Because they're synthetic and they're literal plastic, they have like a static charge to them and dog hairs will stick on them easier. And no matter how much you go like this on a synthetic fiber, sometimes it'll just stay there. It'll cling forever. Another funny con of wearing all black is a lot of people think there's something wrong with me. And honestly, there probably is something wrong with me. But seriously, I have gotten the question, is everything okay? Because I'm wearing all black, even if I'm smiling and I'm in a really good mood. Sometimes people just think I'm not doing so well. And sometimes I'm not, honestly, but most of the time, I feel fine and I just want to look elegant in black or whatever. But to quote the legendary designer and demeulemeester, black is not sad. Bright colors are what depresses me. They're so empty. Black is poetic. How do you imagine a poet? In a bright yellow jacket? Probably not. The image of that poet with all yellow just cracks me up a little bit. Another huge con of wearing all black is it can sometimes look very aggressive and intimidating to people. I have been told wearing all black that sometimes I look like I'm about to commit a crime. It's weird that the color black has that connotation sometimes of intimidation or power or aggression or seriousness or whatever it is. It's just a freaking color. But yeah, there are certain cultural ramifications of wearing black. For example, it's the main color of when you're going to a funeral. But for me, because I have gone to so many freaking funerals in my life, unfortunately, it just feels like, well, maybe I'll just skip a step and just wear black. Then I'm always dressed for the funeral. Which leads me to another huge con of black sometimes, where it can actually be kind of culturally insensitive or inappropriate. Think about something like a wedding, for example, or you're going to a cousin's Easter party or whatever. Everyone else is usually wearing bright colors or something flashy. They're not showing up to the Easter party with a bunch of kids there, usually wearing all black. Even though I think black outfits look very festive, very fun. Not everybody does, and that's just a truth of the world based on kind of tradition, which makes me think of Johnny Cash, who was very famous for wearing all black. He said, "I wore black because I liked it. I still do, and wearing it still means something to me. It's still my symbol of rebellion against a stagnant status quo, against our hypocritical houses of God, against people whose minds are closed to others' ideas." That quote really resonates with me because wearing all black can be a symbol of the despair and the rebellion and the counterculture kind of feelings that I genuinely have a lot. Another huge con of black is, of course, it can get hot as hell in these clothes. And again, that's why I wear more oversized stuff and more natural fibers so they're breathable in hot conditions. But sometimes it's so hot that no matter how, breathable or oversized or whatever the things that I'm wearing are, it's still hot as hell and I still sweat like crazy. And sometimes I'm just like, why am I wearing all black living in Texas? And the last con is sometimes wearing all black does feel a little bit limiting in terms of fashion and style. I love fashion. I love personal style. It's always been a huge hobby and interest and passion of mine. And I watch a lot of runway shows and presentations of different collections, and I see a lot of stuff that is far from black, that has tons of color and pattern, interesting fabric, whatever it is. And sometimes I do have this FOMO of like, damn, why am I wearing all black when I can wear this amazing piece by Margiela, or this crazy ISSEY MIYAKE piece that is bright red or orange or blue or something. When I see these pieces sometimes, I often have this feeling of like, why am I wearing all black when I would love to wear that? And is wearing all black really the best route for me? Should I wear more colors? Should I revert to wearing more patterns and stuff? This is that internal dialogue that sometimes causes a lot of confusion for me. Sometimes all it takes is like an accessory, like a ring or a necklace, or this adder error hat that has these white contrast stitches on them to play with more options if I do feel a little bit bored or like a little stagnant wearing all black. But the powerful feeling that I get, the confidence that I get from wearing all black, the mystery, the kind of poetic aesthetic, the simplicity, the minimalism in wearing all black is incredibly appealing to me. And I'm not saying that this is going to be the way that I dress for the rest of my life, but it's how I've been feeling and how I've been dressing for many months now. And I don't see it stopping anytime soon. And I'm sure I missed some pros and cons of wearing all black, so hit me up in the comments with what are your favorite and least favorite things of wearing all black. And if you watched all the way to the end of this video, leave a pizza emoji in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Smash all the buttons below, and I will see you in the next video. And I won't be wearing color, probably, maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Okay, bye.